On the morning of 9/11, my wife was walking beneath the Twin Towers at the moment the second plane hit. As I searched to find her over the next several hours, the senseless madness of this destructiveness took a permanent place in my mind. It set me on a course to find an effective way to reduce war and create peace. Preventing wars related to religious extremism became the center of my focus and my life. There was great heroism that day. Firemen, policemen, first responders, and ordinary citizens gave their all and became great leaders, like the managers of air traffic, Bruce Barrett and Mike McCormick, who stepped up and gave the order to clear the airspace over New York, and Ben Sliney in the FAA Command Center, who gave the order to shut everything down and clear the skies. Preventing follow-up attacks became the first priority, and heroic men like Cofer Black and Hank Crumpton stepped up, assumed responsibility, won the support of the president, and led the team that drove al-Qaeda and the Taliban out of Afghanistan in 2001. This made it impossible for Osama bin Laden and al-Qaeda to execute their planned follow-up attacks on the United States. These were necessary and important defensive actions, and the people who made them happen were superb leaders. They came through for all of us in our country's hour of maximum danger. I had the honor of teaching, coaching, and mentoring one of these leaders, and that experience has helped me greatly in this quest to find an effective way to reduce war and create peace. I'm honored to have the opportunity to share the results of that quest with you today. 25 centuries ago, Plato warned us that only the dead have seen the end of war, and war has been with us ever since. But that does not mean that we cannot reduce war and create peace. As President Kennedy taught us, war is not inevitable. It can be prevented.
What kind of a peace do I mean, and what kind of a peace do we seek? Not a Pax Americana, enforced on the world by American weapons of war. Not the peace of the grave, or the security of the slave. I am talking about genuine peace, the kind of peace that makes life on earth worth living, the kind of peace that enables men and nations to grow and to hope and build a better life for their children. Not merely peace for Americans, but peace for all men and women.
Peace honors everyone, especially our soldiers. As General MacArthur observed on the plains of West Point more than a half-century ago, the soldier above all other people prays for peace, for he must bear the deepest wounds and scars of war. We Americans have fought 15 major wars over the past 2.5 centuries. We've been waging war on an average of every 16 years. These wars have taken up more than 28% of our national existence, killing more than 1.5 million Americans while wounding and maiming millions more. We can do better. We must do better. One of the psychologists with insights that can help reduce war and create peace is Carl Jung. After studying more than 1,000 patients in a clinical setting, he discovered that most extremism is driven by doubt, that the more hidden the doubt, the more beneath the awareness of the patient it is, the more destructive it becomes. By combining this finding of Jung with the insights of the philosophers Plato and Kant, we can learn how religion carries within itself the kind of doubt which drives the overcompensation of extremism. Plato and Kant teach us that total reality, all of it, consists of two parts. First, the accessible or phenomenal reality that we can perceive with our 5 senses, our central nervous system, our intelligence, and so forth. Second, the inaccessible or noumenal reality that we cannot reach with our human apparatus. The nature of God, the nature of eternity, the nature of immortality. These things are not subject to empirical proof. They are beyond the reach of our five senses. Yes, if we say a prayer, we can feel the power of grace, the sense of forgiveness, the removal of despair, but we cannot directly touch the face of God or eternity. As John Dewey once observed, the quest for certainty has always been an effort to transcend belief. And in the religious sphere, you cannot transcend belief. That's why faith is so important. And faith carries with it a doubt. Picture a young child sitting with her mother on a quiet afternoon as the mother reads the musical score of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, with just the sheet of music in front of her, nothing playing, as mother and daughter sit together on the piano stool. The mother, who has the capability to read music, is able to translate those notes so that she experiences not merely the markings on the paper, but the sublime music and the inspiring meaning of its ode to joy. Yet the child believes her mother when she is told of the beauty of the composition. She has faith in her mother's teachings. Although there may be times in the course of her life, such as her teenage years, when doubt arises. We humans are like that child when it comes to noumenal, inaccessible reality. It's there, but beyond our reach, except through belief based on faith, the main focus of religion. This graphic aims at preventing war by illustrating the process that drives the kind of extremism which facilitates war. The red area is the phenomena, that portion of reality that is naturally accessible to us with our human capabilities, whereas the gray area represents the noumena, which is not accessible with our human capacities. The gray noumena includes the transcendent spiritual mysteries, like the nature of God, the nature of eternity, and the nature of immortality, all beyond our earthly abilities to perceive directly, and beyond the empirical ability of science to either prove or disprove. Beginning with the word noumena at the lower left of the graph, and moving diagonally upward, we see that religion and dogma depend on noumenal reality as the source of their fundamental beliefs, which they have gained through the mystery of revelation. Faith relies on such revelations, beyond the reach of empirical investigation. Faith has its shadow, doubt, and when doubt is beneath the level of awareness, as it is here, it develops a destructive power and drives the kind of defensive extremism that facilitates violence and war. Only by bringing this doubt to the level of awareness and acknowledgement can we deprive it of its destructive power to drive extremism and war. When we become aware of faith's shadow side and courageously acknowledge doubt, it takes a positive role with faith in a conjunction of opposites that fosters stability, growth, and well-being of universal importance. This reduces war and creates peace. Now, I'm not saying that the causes of 9/11 are limited to overcompensation for doubt related to the nature of uncertainty that comes with faith. But I am saying that such doubt made the psyches of the radical Islamic terrorists fertile for extreme acts of violence. Similarly, such hidden doubt also made the psyches of the radical Christian and Jewish fundamentalists in America fertile to accept the extreme acts of violence inherent in the shock and awe invasion of Iraq, which killed tens of thousands of Iraqi civilians and thousands of American soldiers. We're not saying that our military planners did not try to limit the damage to civilians. They certainly did. But shock and awe killed tens of thousands of innocent Iraqi civilians, and it killed thousands of American soldiers. And that invasion could never have been made if Christians and Jews in the United States did not set aside the belief that they hold most sacred: thou shalt not kill. Set it aside and take up the mantle of extremism, which they knew would result in the deaths of tens of thousands of innocent people. There has to be real justification when you do something like that. And if they were to stop and think about it today, perhaps they would have the clarity to say, what were we thinking? What were we thinking? The thing that drove them to set aside their historic admonition, thou shalt not kill, was the hidden doubt inherent in the very faith that taught them that admonition. Without the fertile receptivity caused by these hidden religious doubts, neither the unjustifiable terrorist attacks of 9/11 nor the unjustifiable violence of shock and awe would have been possible. No, neither would have been possible without those hidden doubts inherent in religious faith, making those psyches fertile to accept something which is completely contradictory to what their fundamental religions teach. Neither Islam nor Christianity nor Judaism believes that the solution to things is to go and slaughter innocent people. That's absurd. No sane person believes that, and those religions do not believe it. No one who is really true to those religions could ever teach such a thing. So what else is happening? What is happening is what Jung found out, that extremism is driven by overcompensated doubt. And you overlay that clinical finding with A, the philosophical insight of Plato and Kant, that there is a portion of reality that is inaccessible to human beings with their human capabilities, and B, the observable fact that the fundamental beliefs of religious faith are not accessible with our human apparatus, that they depend on the faith that believers have in the revelation of the prophets, which cannot be verified empirically, nor can it be disproved by science. And we see that the nature of religious faith carries with it a natural doubt, and that doubt is what made people fertile to accept the extreme violence of 9/11 and shock and awe. Can we not allow for the possibility that all four of the entities in this mandala, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and science, that all four of these paths are paths to the same truth? We really must try. The deep and dangerous hidden doubt is the elusive cause of war. It is the oldest of all human fears. The fear that when my lonely prayer travels the vast expanse of the universe, there may be no one there to hear it. Facing that fear and making it conscious requires great courage, courage that can lead to the humility and tolerance that we humans need to cross the impossible bridge from war to peace. That is what the Prophet Muhammad called the greater jihad, the ability to face the destructive urges within ourselves and overcome them. That is our greatest and most important challenge. For the prayer that comes from the best part of all humanity transcends the differences among religions and nations. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace.